Hey everyone! All right, ended that just a few seconds early because I got started a few seconds late. Actually, longer than a few seconds, 2 minutes. My guest and I were kind of talking about nerdy stuff, and totally lost track of time before we had to go and punch the go live button. And I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about here in just a minute. Now, one caveat. So. Not that you'd notice, but if you ever follow us on Facebook, the Facebook feed for some reason didn't decide to kick off. So we're broadcasting on a bunch of other ones. So I know Megan was going to watch the feeds to kind of check it out. We're running some new tests with some slightly different alterations in the software that we've made here. Just want to make sure everything's smooth. And I'm watching like literally it's delayed 20 seconds from when I actually say something to over there. And I got it on a TV next to me, which is going pretty good. But hey, I wanted to show you guys some stuff. I made a couple posts about it. And we're going to be at a couple different conferences and gatherings. And if you're going to be there, then come see us. We have fun stuff for you. I'm going to show just a couple of these here really quick. And against the advice of my awesome wife, who usually is pretty spot on with her advice to me. But I'm a typical guy and don't tend to listen too much against my better judgment. I should listen. But we've got new swag. And you probably saw some posts, and I'm going to show you guys some of what this is. So I went and got a laser printer. So this right here is our OSINT one. It says, I don't know how well you guys can see this. I'm hoping it's in in focus, but it says shot, OSINT, sleep, repeat. We have a forensics version of this. Plus we have a bunch of other versions. And on the other side, you can see maybe it'll say Cyber Social Hub there. It's kind of hard to get that reflection in there, but there it is. Nonetheless. So yeah, there it is. I just got a text message saying I should listen to my wife. Yes, I did get the text message. So right on. So that's one of them. And some of the other ones that we got here, I'm just going to show you guys some of these real quick to just some of the swag that is coming out, because someone asked me, I actually had a couple of people ask me, it's like, hey, is Cyber Social Hub just going to open an online swag store? And I'm like, we considered it once before, but never really had demand for it. And so why not? So all of this stuff is going to be available online. You can see this if you don't make it to a show right there. Yes, it's a bunch of binary. Good luck converting that. I'm not telling you what it says. It does say something. And then on the other side, it's that. And this thing is solid steel. I'm going to try to bend it. I can't even move it. This thing is solid steel. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. So, and there's a bunch of other junk I won't bore you guys with. Stuff I've been playing around with, different sayings here and there, but we're going to be at IASIS in end of April, beginning of May. I think we're there over the weekend. Or over the weekend block, it's what it's called. So it'll be a Thursday, Friday. So we catch like part of the week of the advanced classes in IASIS. And then the second week of IASIS advanced classes, we catch them just on a Monday. But if you're there for the big IASIS class, like the massive classroom, we're there. You'll see us out there. We're going to be broadcasting the show from IASIS. So that should be a lot of fun. Oh, I have one other thing I forgot to show you guys. So I have these. We got a bunch of these. Just a bunch of stuff that's random, right? Some of it you might like, some of it you might not like. But I got this little guy right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's that one, and it's got Cyber Social Hub on the backside as well. So my goal was to get something you guys will actually use and not end up in the trash can when you get home, right? So because I know how swag is, because at shows. Some things you'll use, some things you won't. And, and then Megan and I were talking, and I said, man, it's kind of like a lot of our stuff centers around drinking of some sort. Kind of an ongoing theme that I may have or may have not realized. But you can use it for other stuff. If you're not into, little tiny drinks like this, you can put a candle in here. It's all multi-purpose. Anyway, there you go. So we got an awesome year ahead of us. We got some great stuff that we're working on. I am trying my best not to let stuff out of the bag, because I'm a horrible secret keeper when it comes to surprises like this, and wanting to tell you guys what we're up to. But trust me, there's some fun stuff that's coming along here. For you guys. All right, I'm going to pop open the chat. I've been trying this for the last couple of weeks. Again, we got some new stuff that we're trying. It's a little bit off there. I don't know if I like how this is showing. It's got a little black line underneath it, if you can see that. Yeah, there you go, Ron. So this is actually the chat as you guys type things. Now keep in mind, from when you hear me, from when I actually say it, it's about 20 seconds. So you're not going to see your message up on the screen for about 20 seconds. That gives me enough time to switch to the next scene from anybody messing with me. And I know Ron would probably just do that. So there. See, I'll go back to here real quick because now by the time you guys got the you'll be putting profanity or something and get me a ban from YouTube. No, I trust you guys, but I honestly do. All right. With that being said, I'm 8 minutes into the show and I haven't brought my awesome guest up on yet. I'm going to do so right now. And I've got a couple new windows here that we're testing out as well. So I'm going to bring him up in the one that you guys are used to seeing. Pull up Matt Danner, my friend Matt. How are you, sir?
Good. Good. How are you?
Good. Awesome. Awesome. How are things now? You're down in Texas, yeah?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So a little bit warmer down here than what it's been up here in the tundra of Ohio lately.
Yeah, it's only it's about 80 right now. But this is honestly it's 80 now, but this is about the warmest it's been all week. Um, so it's been pretty cool the last 2 weeks, and it's just been slowly getting warmer.
That's a good thing. Oh, I'm screwing this all up, man. I'm gonna mess this show up all that. So yeah. So for those of you, for those people, I just assume everybody knows who you are because I know you, and I always forget to do this every time. I just like, hey, it's Matt. Everybody knows Matt, don't they? For those people that don't know who you are, can you kind of give a little background on yourself and what in the world is Monolith Forensics that it says under your name right over there?
Sure. So my name's, as you can see on the screen, my name's Matt Danner. I'm the owner and founder of a company called Monolith Forensics, and I say owner and founder, but really it just means I'm like the CEO of the company. And what we focus on is we build some software that helps digital forensics teams and labs, um, basically manage their lab, manage, track evidence, track their casework, take notes, generate case reports, generate lab findings, things like that. So that's what I do full time. So I run the company. I'm also kind of we're a small company, so we only have 5 people, and so I'm kind of the lead engineer, the lead sales guy, lead everything. Before starting the company, I've been running this company for about 5 years, and then before that, I was deep into the digital forensics space, both in law enforcement, cybersecurity, and e-discovery. I was kind of fortunate to have a career where I was able to get my hands dirty in a lot of different areas of the industry, and then eventually I convinced some people to give me money for the software I was working on, and that turned into something I could support myself on. So that was about 4 or 5 years ago, and I've just been doing it ever since. My pedigree in terms of like work I've done, like worked on just about any case you can imagine. I was on an episode of Dateline last year for a homicide case I worked on.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, testified. I don't know, testified probably 3 dozen times in various jurisdictions. Both federal, state, even military court. So yeah, I've been around the block, and I feel like I've had a relatively short career, but it's been kind of action packed. So I've been able to cram a lot of experience into only being in the field for about 10 to 15 years. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, 10 and 15 years in this field either makes your hair turn gray or you lose it all. And I'll just let people guess where you're at. It was funny.
I am free of the confines of having to shape my hair every morning, but I always wear a hat. It's not because I'm
Yeah.
ashamed of being bald or anything. It's just because I live in Texas and I don't want to get skin cancer. It's just easier just to wear a hat all the time than try to figure out the right times to wear it and when not to. So
Now, I gotta say, Matt, because I know you guys, it just I could probably get away with it. You'll punch me later if I step out of line, I'm sure. How many people at your company have hair?
Um, so it's one if we count part timers. Yeah. Other than that, Other than that, the whole company, yeah, is just a bunch of bald, middle-aged white guys. Yeah, so it
Yeah, I
wasn't
know.
on
I
purpose.
walked
It
up
just
to your booth, and there were four of you at your booth one year at Techno. I think it was at Techno we were at.
yeah.
You had, I think, your development team there, yourself, and then Joey was there. And I walked over to your booth, and everybody's bald. And I'm like,
Two of us
hey,
are two of us are wearing bald caps, baseball caps, and the two of us aren't. And you know, yeah, it's yeah. So the next time I'm hiring, if you have a full head of hair, you probably have a pretty good chance of getting the job. Uh,
you gotta you gotta have some diversification that's in there, right? I mean, you
it's
can't.
at this point, at this point, it's just a matter of being able to tell each other apart. Um,
I'm sorry, guys. If you'd have saw what I saw, literally, because I think Joey was sitting at the table and everyone else had their back to me walking up. I'm going like, what the heck is happening right now? It was either your booth or a hair club for men, starter group or something like that. That was that was happening. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's we make fun of ourselves for it. It's a known problem that we're trying to address, and we'll. I think we'll have a combo breaker on the next hire. I think we will. If we Mostly because I'm going to make sure we have a combo breaker on the next hire. So
uh, everybody, hope everybody knows I do this at a good fun. I'm just not like a totally mean person. I promise I'm not.
well, I make fun of Kevin's perfect head of hair all the time. So it's
Yeah,
only
what'd
it's
you
only
call it the one time? Oh, I know it. You said it was Lego hair. It looked like the kind of hair you could just snap on,
yeah.
just step
It
back
was
off.
like it was just perfectly gelled, and like I could tell you'd spent the whole morning with tweezers, angling perfectly.
Man,
It's
you
like
got me figured out.
I could tell you had a protractor
Oh,
out and it's like measuring the angle of each individual hair.
yeah, my
Um,
tears coming out of my eyes, man. Already, this is great. Holy crap! I've always said if people don't make fun of other people, that you can tell when people don't like you because they will never make fun of you. That's the way it rolls, at least in this industry. That's for sure. Oh goodness. So if you guys see Matt at a show, um, or don't bring that up because he'll be reminded of me. Absolutely. So anyway, what shows are you going to be at? I know you got a couple coming up. Um,
oh man,
like
we're all
soon.
over the
You
place.
guys are all over the place.
I'm actually headed to England on Sunday for there's a security and policing conference in London
Oh
next
wow.
week. So I'll be at that, and then we're going to IASIS like always. Going to both technos. We're going to one or two ICAC shows, and then there's a couple of other random conferences in there that now these days I don't go to all of them myself. I just go to the big ones, and then I send then I send my minions out to the other ones throughout the year. So.
I didn't realize I still had Joey's comment still sticking up here. I better pull that out of there.
I say minions. I want it to seem like we have a whole army of people instead of just like one or two. But
In all fairness, I think minions only have a couple little sprouts too, the big yellow heads. So it was a good reference. I like that one. That was.
though none of us wear glasses, so we don't have the full on minion thing going. So the
Oh my
glasses are
gosh,
done.
you guys could do that for Halloween one year. Literally, most of your staff could just paint your head yellow, get the goggles and the suspenders, and you guys are all set.
I could do
Sorry, I'm
that.
going
Yeah,
back to this.
we could do that if I just didn't want to have employees anymore. That's probably
See, that's why I'm saying it because they can't complain to your HR to about me because they just complain about you like that jerk
yeah,
Kevin. Why is he?
yeah.
Why do
They'll
you
just
talk
be
to
like,
him?
well, my employees like they'll just tell me no to my face. Like it's not like a. I'll just say, hey, can you do this? And she's like, no, I'm not doing that. Okay, I guess I'll just go do something.
Right, spot on. I'm sitting here just yapping the whole time, and I forget what we're supposed to be talking about because that's kind of the way it rolls. I think it has something to do with spreadsheets, right?
Yeah,
Do you
because
remember the
it's
title
such
of this thing? Because we came up with this thing, right, on a
probably
call a
something
couple weeks
like
ago.
be me explaining to people why they should use spreadsheets and they should buy our product instead. I think is what we're
Yeah,
supposed to
something
talk
like
about.
that. But it was real
Yeah,
creative. Oh, I got it right here. It says the spreadsheet struggle: why forensics teams are ditching Excel for good. It was a good title. I liked it
yeah.
because
Can I
I
tell
mean,
the audience, can I tell the audience a secret?
yeah, do it.
I knew that was the title of this podcast, and I did literally nothing to prepare for it because I know so much about this. I just don't have to even prepare. It's just it's just a topic I have with myself all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
I think people
and
have seen the show enough that they know we never prepare for anything. We just kind of roll right into it.
I think sometimes people are too prepared with this stuff, and they come with their perfectly marketed points and bullets, and they're trying to get a message across. When I think it's better to just speak your mind and just be honest with the people you're talking to. So that's my general approach to most things.
100%, 100%. And so Megan is used to me. You know Megan, and she's used to how things roll. And oops, there it is. And yeah, and also classic me, not just for the show, but really pretty much every meeting I have to go out to throughout the day is how it rolls. That's just
I sometimes start Zoom meetings with the first question, which is, okay, what are we meeting about today? What is this meeting about?
uh, I'm glad Megan prepares for them because Megan does. She keeps everything flowing the way it's supposed to. Because my brain is like squirrel. Oh, look over here. So
So,
kudos to
so do
Megan.
you have a starter question on this spreadsheet concept, or do you want me to just start like talking
Oh, you mean
about
you're telling me to get back on topic? Gotcha. We probably
you
should.
have a starter pistol question to ask about it, or is it just kind of
I
more of
I will do my best to lead into it right now. So
okay?
I know when I was in a lab, right, which was man, 2012, I retired, and I don't really call it retiring because I'm still doing stuff, but from that job, right? We'll say from that job, and I used spreadsheets to keep track of all kinds of stuff between evidence, cases, and it was the norm. And I still realized that a lot of people are still using them, which is shocking to me. That was criminy 12, 13 years ago now,
Sure.
that people still use spreadsheets to keep track of case management, evidence, all sorts of things in their investigative labs. Um, so number one, I want to ask you, why do you hate them so much? Why? What's the hate?
So here's a little sales tactic I'm about to throw down, which is, you agree with the negative proposition, right? You lean into the skid here. I actually don't hate spreadsheets. I actually love spreadsheets, right? Like they're great. They're awesome. There's a reason why people gravitate to spreadsheets anytime they need to track anything or record anything, and it's because it's a blank canvas, right? It provides a place where you don't have to think too hard. You already have a baseline of how a spreadsheet works. You need to track something simple. You need to track a list of things that have certain properties, right? So you just naturally, we all of us use computers. We just open a spreadsheet, right? Because we can just open it right away and just immediately start entering stuff. And that's where we start, and it's free, right? All of us, we work in organizations or companies where we get Excel for free. We don't need to have to pay for it. It's just always there. You get a computer, it comes with Excel practically. And that's really the reason why spreadsheets are so common and used everywhere for everything, because it's just built into the cultural knowledge of anybody who uses computers, and you don't have to think about it. And in the case of like tracking stuff like evidence and things in forensics lab, it's like, okay, well, the problem is I've got this phone now that I need to track. And yeah, sure, maybe I would like something like Monolith, but I got to call Matt, I got to have a demo with Matt, and then I got to tell my people to put money together to pay for it. And it could be 2, 3 weeks, maybe longer before I even get the software in front of me to use. So, but with Excel, it's right there, right? It's just right there, ready to use, ready to go right now. You don't have to get permission from anybody. You just put your stuff in there and you're done. And furthermore, it's flexible. So you can, hey, you want to add another column to this and track the angle of the corner on the degree angle of the corner on the phone or whatever for some reason. Great, just add another column to your spreadsheet. Go nuts, right? Do your thing. Um, so that's why spreadsheets are so common in things like case management, evidence tracking, and stuff like that. So the real question is, well, why do people, if spreadsheets are so awesome and they're so great, then why do I have customers? Like, why does Monolith even have business? Like, why do we even exist if spreadsheets are awesome? Well, because spreadsheets are awesome, but they're so awesome that it presents a couple of challenges. One is they're too versatile. So they're kind of like, that old saying where it's like you want to be open-minded, but not so open-minded that your brain falls out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same thing with spreadsheets, right? Spreadsheets are so customizable, they're so versatile that they can get kind of nuts if you let them. And they can also create circumstances where the openness of a spreadsheet platform causes other issues. Like you have data consistency problems, you have data loss issues, you have backup problems. There's all these problems that spreadsheets present at scale that start to present after about, maybe 100 or 200 records. It also becomes a problem when you need to have multiple people using a spreadsheet, right? Where, okay, I need my whole team of 5 people in this same spreadsheet entering and tracking data and putting in information. Well, the problem is that when you work with a spreadsheet, it's a fully, what we call in programming terms, it's a mutable document, meaning we can change anything at any time at any point in the document. So this leads to things where I'm a user, I need to enter this evidence, or I need to update the serial number for this piece of evidence in the spreadsheet. I enter it in, and then a week later, my colleague's like, okay, why the hell is my serial number wrong on my piece of evidence? And then we spend a lot of time figuring out how I got that way, and then finally someone realizes, oh, I must have changed. I tried to update the serial number for my item, but I must have done it in the wrong record or something. There's no logging of it in Excel. There's no indication that it happened. There's no way to figure out how it happened. You're all just kind of scrambling to figure out why the data is wrong. And in some cases, you don't even know the data is wrong because it's not easy to audit. It's not easy to audit that information either. So what inevitably happens is as your lab scales, as you start tracking more and more information, as you get more and more evidence items, more and more cases, have more people in the lab, suddenly that spreadsheet starts to become a real headache because it just doesn't have, it's not the platform you need for this sort of management. Now, there are some other solutions out there for this. There are sort of what I call powered spreadsheets, which are things like Google Sheets is a little bit different from Excel and where it has a lot more programmatic functionality built into it. You have other things like Airtable and Smartsheet and QuickBase that take spreadsheets and they supercharge them with a bunch of other features that don't exist in Excel. But the downside of those platforms, while they can fix some of these problems, you still have some of the mutability problems. It solves the team management problem where now these powered spreadsheets are built to be used collaboratively. So it's a little bit easier for multiple teams to use them. But you still have this problem of you now have to design the spreadsheet. You have to set up your own workflows. You have to think about how is this data going to go in? How is it going to be managed? How are we going to log it? How are we going to track it? And so on and so forth. So even with these more sophisticated spreadsheet systems, you still have a lot of these problems. The other problem that you run into also is you quickly realize, and I guess I can pause there. I can keep going if you want. There's one or two more points I need to make about this because
Make them.
I'm
Make them.
replacing. Here's where spreadsheets work well, and here's why everybody uses them. And then I'm slowly taking the audience through why they end up buying something like Monolith anyway.
Right.
The other reason too is what you realize is that you start running a lab and you have a decent amount of cases, you're tracking a decent amount of evidence, you've got 3, 4, or 5 examiners in your lab, or even if you're in a cybersecurity space and you've got 3 or 4 analysts or whatever, they're working on stuff, you start to realize that a spreadsheet is great for the simple tracking of records and data, but it's not great for the dynamic environment that you're working in with a collaborative team. So what that means is if you think about how a spreadsheet works, it's generally one-dimensional, meaning you enter a record and then that record just lives in that sheet and then that's it. There's no more depth to it. There's no more drilling down in. There's no more associated references or linkages or anything. An example of this is, let's say you have a piece of evidence, whether it's a server, a computer, or whatever, and you've taken evidence photos of it, or you have some specific notes that you want to keep track of that are associated with that evidence item, or you have tasks associated with that evidence item and three other evidence items that you're working on across 5 cases. Suddenly you have this spatial problem of, well, my spreadsheet only has one layer to it, and there's no way for me to easily link together my notes and my tasks and all the other case metadata, and being able to quickly see, here's the case that is associated with these evidence items. You don't easily have that in a spreadsheet environment. You can set it up if you're like an Excel wizard. You can set up things like macros and sheet linkages and things like that to really build a complicated Excel problem. But then if you do that and you have that skill, well, great, that's awesome. But now you're the only one in the universe that knows how to use that spreadsheet. So you now have a training problem where nobody else can catch up to what you're doing. So that's where something like Monolith comes in, because with Monolith, we provide, you're basically relying on our expertise to put together, what I would call an operating system for your forensics team, to where you're using our opinions to say, look, we work with tons of customers. We have a general idea of how your workflow should work. This is how we think you should track your evidence. This is the information we think you should track about your cases. And here is how we're going to lay that out for you in the UI. And you have cool things like, a user can create an evidence item and they can also track chain of custody in the same place. And then they can also create notes about that evidence item. And then they can also track tasks they need to do for that evidence. And then they can use all that information and compile it into a forensic report that Monolith can generate. These are all things that an Excel spreadsheet just can't do on its own, and it can't do it in a collaborative way at scale. And so that's the journey that we see a lot of customers go on. Everybody starts with a spreadsheet. Something like Monolith is either the very first thing your lab buys or the very last thing. But you all start with a spreadsheet, which is perfectly reasonable and fine. And then eventually you get to a spot where suddenly that spreadsheet just isn't working anymore. You're starting to find that you're dealing with more problems the spreadsheet is causing than the solutions that it's providing. And then that's when you start the search, where you go online, you start Googling, digital forensics lab management, digital forensics case management, or you go to a conference and you see us, or you see me at something like this doing a presentation on why you should give me money for our software, and then the wheels start turning, and you're like, okay, well, maybe this is a solution to this spreadsheet problem that we're running into, and that's how we get to where we're at now, which is the sort of completed circle in the journey of like starting with a basic spreadsheet and then moving into a more sophisticated platform like Monolith. And that's sort of the thesis I've put together over the years of just talking to customers and trying to understand this problem and why we all love and hate spreadsheets at the same time.
Yeah, I have a sales thing in a spreadsheet and I can't stand it. I just, yeah, I can't stand it anyway. And hold on, Vicky has something here. Let me pop this up. Sounds like a cross between a spreadsheet and a mind map. She likes it. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
On steroids,
it's sort of,
a little bit.
yeah. I mean, it's sort of, it's all about that multi-dimensionality, really, and also about being able to easily link things together and reference them easily. In a spreadsheet, you lose some of that connective tissue between things, and that's where, and it sucks because we'll get customers that have a spreadsheet of data that they've put together in this master way, and they clearly put a lot of work into it. But the reason they're still switching to Monolith is because they're just having trouble, like, doing things as simple as clearly being able to see, here are the evidence items for this case, or here's what we did with this evidence item, because now they have a spreadsheet that has like 15 tabs in it or 15 sheets in it. And it's just a nightmare trying to navigate through all of them and being able to find something that you want to find. There isn't the search functionality isn't necessarily meant in Excel to quickly find a record across multiple sheets in an Excel workbook. So there's these things that we can, as a team in Monolith, we can look at the user's workflow and say, when a user executes a search in Monolith, this is what they're looking for. They don't want to run a search across every single bit of data in their database. They're looking for very specific things. So we don't need to. We can target. We can say they're running a global search. Great. We're going to search these things because this is what they're looking for. We can exclude other pieces of information because we know they're not looking for that. In an Excel spreadsheet, there is none of that. You run a search and it searches every single character of data in the entire sheet, and it ends up just not being useful with a spreadsheet of any level of size to it. So yeah.
No, 100%. It's a nightmare trying to use it, and I've had to watch. Actually, I cheat now. I use Chat GPT because it understands. I use Google Sheets because it understands how to use Google Sheets or some of the formulas you can pipe in there. But it's just not intuitive. And if someone else needs to use it or plug in numbers like you had mentioned a little bit ago here at the company, they cannot. It's just like, no, then they break it, or they actually enter a number up top where the formula was in the bar across the top, and now then it wipes out my formula, and I'm like, oh, holy crap. So yeah, all kinds of fun stuff that is just miserable to do it that way. Now, how long ago did you redo your website? I think you told me about this last time we
Uh,
had talked.
yeah, just a couple. I don't know, maybe about 3 weeks ago.
All right, I'm
Something like
gonna. I know you don't like doing commercials, but I'm gonna pop this up here, and we should keep our voice here. Yeah, we can still talk. So, man, this looks really good. You did a good job on this. You did this, right?
Yep, yep, I did.
Yeah, look at that. So this is kind of the tell me what I'm seeing right here on this particular
Yes,
view.
yeah, that's a screenshot. That's our main like cases interface. So like one of the things that if you listen to what I said, I genuinely meant it when I said I like spreadsheets. Like they're like spreadsheets are very useful tools, and one of the things that we do in Monolith to try to maintain that spirit is like this is our table of cases that you can see in the screenshot, but our tables like this have a lot of spreadsheet like features. So it has things like sorting and filtering and searching, and you have the ability to show and hide columns. You can even click and drag to rearrange columns, or you can, if you think a column should be a little bit wider, you can just hover over the column and just click and drag to increase this width. So that way you're still sort of maintaining a lot of that spreadsheet familiarity that you've had, especially if you're switching from a spreadsheet environment to something like Monolith. And then we basically take that spreadsheet mentality, and then we just build our own dynamic, usability on top of it with things like, like I said, we have a case, and within that case, you have all these different features that help help a forensics team kind of track a case and track everything they're doing in a case, and sort of just and it's sort of what I'm referring to as the operating system for your forensics team, right? It's sort of the
Yeah.
central hub, the nervous system of what's going on in the lab and that sort of thing.
Yeah, this is awesome. This has come a long way, I think, since the last time I have seen Monolith. You're adding all kinds of fun stuff in here that is so useful. Um, Now, I know you had mentioned an intake piece before, or like I see here. I remember you would first start talking about this when you were developing it, and how remote teams or how you can submit, right? If an agency is using Monolith, how people can submit evidence. Can you kind of walk us through that a little bit? That's something that's really difficult to do on a spreadsheet.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we have an additional product. So we have Monolith, which is our primary case management tool, and then we have another product called Relay. And what Relay is basically, if you buy Monolith, like Relay just comes with Monolith, but we've branded it separately because Relay is basically a customer portal for the people that your team works with. So you can imagine if you're if you run a forensics lab with 3 or 4 forensic analysts, you may have clients or police agencies that you work with that submit evidence to your lab. So Relay operates as sort of that portal that those customers can use to submit requests and tell you about evidence that they're about to bring to you. So, and the way it works is they tell you about that request, and that data just gets piped directly into Monolith for you, so that um, you can see that request coming in, you can triage it, see what it is that the person's about to bring you, and basically, have that whole intake process more or less taken care of for you through software. And once you've processed that request, the user then has some information that they can track inside of Relay to see, the basic progress of their request and that sort of thing. And there's also a little bit, there's some file sharing capabilities and things built into it as well. So it's kind of it's honestly for our law enforcement customers, it's one of our most popular features of the software, to be honest. And to give you a um, sort of some proof of that, we actually have, by count, we have more users in Relay than we do in Monolith. And
Really?
yeah, there's two reasons for that. One is because we don't charge for user seats in Relay, and also
Hmm.
two, if you think about it, a standard forensic lab might have 3, 4 people in it, but they're doing, they're assisting, 100, 200, 300 different people potentially, whether they're clients or
Oh,
investigators or
right.
whatever. So just the way the math works out, you have a small team of forensic folks that are working on cases for potentially hundreds of investigators. So over time, you know, those investigators end up with accounts in Relay. So we end up with, you know, you know, 3, 4, 5x the amount of users in Relay than we have in Monolith.
Yeah, that no, that makes perfect sense. And I tell you what, man, I ran a task forced, I don't know for a better term, joint agreement type of lab when I was in for Northwest Ohio, and we were partnered with a few. And man, that would have came in so much uh, handy. It would have been like amazing to have because it was well. I mean, I'm from the Stone Ages. It was a lot of paper back then, which then was transcribed into a spreadsheet in those days. But man, you have come a long way on this thing. It's pretty awesome for sure. Now, um, how do people get a like if they want to learn more about this? I'm looking on your website now. Where do they go to learn more about this thing?
Just website's first place to go. If you check out the website, you can see just a lot of information about Monolith. And at the very, at the bottom of the site, there's if you are interested in, getting a demo or trying out the software yourself, you just fill out the form here. And yeah, and then we'll pretty much we reach out to you the same day, unless it's like late on a Friday or something. And then yeah, we're our in terms of sales, if you contact us, we're pretty aggressive. So you contact us, we kind of see that as a free invite for us to bug you for a while until you tell us to go away. But we try to get you into a demo so we can, part of the demo process really is just to get to know you a little bit. We like to know who our customers are generally, like so we don't we like to know, like, okay, whether you're law enforcement or the private sector, we like to know a little bit about you and your team and what kind of work you're doing, and then use that to kind of show you how we think Monolith can be helpful for you as a team. So part of that contact form is really to give us your information. We reach out. We'll send you a calendar link where you can pick a time to meet with us, and then we will set up a trial for you, and then you and your team can just play with Monolith yourself, and then see if it's something that'll be useful to your team. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
much
and
it.
I just noticed this. I didn't see the form initially until I hit the big button that said "Start Now," which made perfect sense to everybody else probably looking at the site. There's a drop down and it says our stuff in here, so you got to make sure that when you do this, you just select right there. So yeah, how did you hear about us? Right there. Uh, so look at that. I didn't even know you had that in there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've
I
had
like
that
it.
thing. It's actually been there for even before this website refresh. We've always had that in
Oh
there. So
really?
yeah, because we like to know, like, where are people, how are people hearing about us, where are they coming from, and it's just a good, easy rubric metric to see kind of where are we getting people from marketing wise.
That's pretty cool. And it is a 30-day trial you can sign up for too. But I have a
It
feeling
is.
once people see it, they're not gonna, they won't, they won't go the full 30 days. They're like, yeah, we need this.
Yeah,
Right on.
it's 3 days, but we tend to, you know, we work with our customers because sometimes the sales cycle just takes a while. It takes a while to procure and put money together, but usually if you're still talking to us, we just keep the trial going. So we're pretty lenient on that.
Yeah. Now, just for clarity's sake, because I know we'll be talking about a lot of law enforcement, because I mean, obviously, you and I both work with a lot of law enforcement. This is available for private sector too, or public.
Yeah,
I guess it'd be private sector as
yeah,
well.
we're yeah. It's honestly it's actually designed to be pretty agnostic to whatever industry you're in. So, which I think is sort of a little bit of a something I disagree with a lot of other vendors in our space is that they tend to pick one industry or the other. And for something like Monolith, in my opinion, it's just that if you do any kind of digital forensics or cybersecurity work, Monolith is designed for that purpose. It doesn't matter if you're in law enforcement or if you're in the private sector. The workflows are built in such a way, and the UI is built in such a way that it works, well in both those situations. And I think our customer base has largely proven that true
Hmm.
because we have almost nearly half of our customers are law enforcement, and nearly half of our customers are private sector. So we're able to get a good cross section of folks, and it really just comes down to if you're doing e-discovery, digital forensics, or cybersecurity work, Monolith is kind of designed with you in mind to be kind of agnostic towards that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, if you guys have questions also for Matt or anything that he's talked about, make sure you drop it into chat. But I'm kind of curious also, and we kind of switch off the topic a little bit. And and I usually ask this at the beginning, and I completely forgot to ask where's everybody tuning in from? I'm always interested because we have live right now. Granted, we do this in the middle of the day on a Friday when everybody's supposed to be working. There's like 31 people here, so I know there's 31 of you at least that are not working like you're supposed to be, or maybe you got us on the side, or I know what you probably tell your boss, hey, this is training, and you're going to get CPE credits for it, right? That's it. Whatever you use it for, it doesn't matter. We call ourselves the um, really bad late night talk show that we do in the middle of the day. So that pretty much sums up what we are. uh, it's we like to have fun. See someone from the UK. Oh, holy criminy! It's like what 7:44 p.m. ish there, almost 8 o'clock in the UK. Ron, I know where you're
He's
at. I'm
from
not going to call you out though.
from Earth. What is Earth?
So we got Ron.
Earth. I don't know.
I
I
think I
don't know
got
what
a
Earth is. Sorry. I'm
ER.
kidding. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I'm not being serious. I know how to spell Earth. I'm just kidding. Don't take me seriously. Kevin looked very, very dumbfounded for a minute. He was like, does Matt not really know how to spell Earth?
I was actually trying to think of something smart to say, and the word "smart" and Kevin really, well, they don't go in the same the same area together. So it just was like a fail, big time. It's been a week, man. It has been one heck of a week. I don't know what everyone else has had their weeks about, but holy crap! I'm
Holy.
glad the weekend is here, and just another day that ends in Y. Thanks, Chris. My guess is you've been drinking too much while you're watching, because if you think this, then we got some serious questions.
Well,
But
I
no,
mean,
man, I really I appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
people just can't get enough of spreadsheet talk. It's such a vibrant topic. These spreadsheets and what's good about them, what's bad about them. It's like,
This is supposed to
it's just
go
dominating
there.
podcast now is spreadsheet talk.
Yeah, I know. I remember we were on a call. What was it, last week? Right? We were trying to come up with a topic. It's like, what
Oh
would
yeah.
be, something good that people would want to hear. Um, and we cheated a little bit. We got an assist, but nonetheless, I thought, and I still do think it's a good topic, because maybe I'm old, but I'm curious. Is anyone that's watching right now, whether you're watching live, which some of you are right now, or you're seeing this after the show's been maybe setting out here for a little bit, drop down into the comments or live chat if you're on YouTube. So if you're watching us on X, if you're watching us on, I don't know if I can see X comments. Megan, can you go? I'm curious. I got Megan kind of watching all of our different feeds because, like I said, we're testing it. If you still have it open, if not, don't worry about it. Make a comment on X to Cyber Social Hub while the live stream's going. I don't know if we can see those or not, but anyway, YouTube is our home channel, and we can pull the chat feed directly from YouTube. That's obviously how I'm pulling it up on the screen. We usually can do it Facebook too, but for some reason Meta decided it wasn't going to work today, so it kicked us off, and we couldn't do that, which is okay. It's just the way it rolls sometimes. But YouTube is the way to go for sure. So yeah, drop in there. Curious if anyone is still using spreadsheets, because I really want to make fun of you, for lack of anything else. No, I'm kidding. I won't do that. But at least we'll get an idea of if that practice still happens out there. And man, my mic is so loud. I switched away. Man, I was telling you before the show, you guys that normally watch, I haven't actually put it in the box yet. This is what I usually use to do the shows is my Rodecaster 2 or Pro 2. But the delays on this thing lately were getting out of hand. I was having a little bit more problems than normal doing the live broadcast between my camera and anyway, it wasn't syncing audio properly, and it was giving some challenges for sure. So I switched over to this other thing, which now this little tiny box is like my mic is so loud. I'm watching my levels, and I apologize. I didn't check them ahead of time. Occasionally, I'm getting an echo because I am so stinking loud. So if you guys hear it, I'm sorry. I didn't check it, and I'm a slacking. So Ron says that he's still using them. So
Okay.
Ron, you're our first target, by the way.
He just hasn't given me his money yet. That's all.
Man, I'm guessing, Ron, that I know you're uber geeky, and that you're probably got some crazy pivot tables. I'm trying to use nerd Excel language here, going on, and probably multiple different. I don't know what to call it. I call them formulas, but pull one information from one box, move it over onto multiple sheets, and you're probably referencing multiple spreadsheets to pull in data. All of it. So anyway, that's my guess. That's my guess. Um, yeah, that's true. Also, Chris says that yeah, it's Friday night, watching for a solution here, and then after all this spreadsheet talk, he deserves a beer, right? I absolutely go for it.
I
And
don't
Chris
blame
says, what's that?
him. Yeah, I don't blame you. You should get a beer after listening to me talk about spreadsheets. And they're using Access Database. That's Microsoft's solution to the multiple problems that I stated, which was like, oh, Excel isn't good enough, so let's just take Excel and then cram it into a database process. That'll fix everything. Like, yeah. And
Right?
so I'm being sarcastic, everyone, but it's just because from my point of view, like we just talk to customers all the time that switch from Excel and Access to Monolith, and it's kind of the nothing wrong with it. It's just the same. We see the same pattern a lot.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Ron, you're messing with me now. You're not using Notepad plus
Well,
plus, are you?
he's using it for analysis, which makes sense. Yeah, I used to
Really?
use Note. Yeah, I use Notepad all the time uh, for analysis. It just handles when you're looking at lots of raw data, log data. Like it's a very good solution to use, especially logs and stuff.
I'm still convinced he's messing with me. Sorry, I keep moving this around because I have this little. You guys can't see what I see here on my screen, and it's crazy. Um, the control panel that I see, and everything gets in the way of me trying to move everything around. And it's Friday, and well, it's just a little chaotic today, for sure. So let me see here. Let me see if I can get this off the screen. Really, you know what? I don't know that I've ever used it. I'm making fun of you, and it's like the idiot that's never done something that's making fun of someone. That's me. uh,
You understand there's a difference between Notepad and Notepad plus plus. Like
Yeah,
Notepad++
that's what.
is a universe different from like Notepad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's instantly what came to my mind here. I'm like, Notepad. I use that to clear formatting out when I copy and paste sometimes. That's pretty much it. Actually, I don't even use that because I'm on a Mac. That doesn't exist. I use TextEdit. So
Yeah.
there you have it. So it's just I'm not very smart, Ron, but you already knew that. So it's not anything, not revealing anything, anything important. I'm going to show you guys real quick the chaos. Have I ever showed Matt what my screen looks like during these broadcasts out to you?
I don't
I'm
think
going to
so.
try to do this. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm monitoring the show over here, but it's like 20 seconds behind. I'm going to try this and see because, well, it's Friday and we're almost at the end of the show here. I can't believe 53 minutes have gone by already. That went by really fast. And talking about spreadsheets, it went by really fast. So I'm going to show you guys this. Turn on live mode demo. Yes. All right. So you should be able to see my entire screen now. Can you? Including my
Yep.
Mac bar, of course. I don't know if you can see the Mac bar below, but probably. It's crazy. All the different stuff that's in here. You can see, I can see the full chat like right here. I can scroll
It's,
through.
you can see your heart rate monitor there in the bottom left.
Yeah, this is the feed to the stream. It's kind of hiding back under here somewhere. There it is. Right here, you can see the average bandwidth that we're pushing out. Um, I can see, if I need to change the color of your camera, if something's not right, like I can move you up in position here. Hold on. I will zoom in slightly and then I can make you look really tall. There you go. See, now you're taller instantly, just like that. So a lot of different cool, fun stuff that we can do here and keep track of. Audio levels, you can see mine is still fairly pingy, but I don't know. Oh, I always forget about the fun stuff right here. See, I always forget about the fun stuff. I have no idea. What is a glockenspiel? What is that?
It's an instrument, right? It's a musical instrument, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Oh, well, that's kind of boring. That's like a
Yeah, it's like a handheld like keyboard thing.
yeah. That's boring. I need to get some better ones in here. Yeah, when I had Jansen on right here, I brought all these John Wick ones in, so
Yes, John Wick, that's right.
to make fun of him when he came in. But yeah, are we supposed to be seeing double? Yeah, yeah, because this is you're seeing my screen here. I'm gonna turn this off now because it's making me all confused because I see double of what you guys are seeing. There now it should be just back to Matt and I think should be. Is that what you're seeing, Matt? Now?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Oh, Megan knows exactly what one of these is. I forgot. She's the music major and she would know percussion no less. So she knows exactly what it is. It's a metal, smaller xylophone. Huh, makes sense. I'm trying to picture this in my head, but I'm just taking your word for it right there. Right on. Okay, well, that's cool. Let me see here. Megan says she posted to Twitter, but we can't see the Twitter things. So most of our stuff, by the way, with X, I keep wanting to call it Twitter. I probably will for a long time. Is Elon, when he took over, changed the APIs all around, and he actually I'm surprised we can still broadcast to it because he started charging. Megan, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's like $45,000 a month to access certain elements in the API, and that includes like automatic social post stuff we like to do to plan out our month, so we can push stuff out without having to go right onto the platform, post it then. But yeah, $45,000 per month he wanted to charge just us, and I'm like, no thanks. We'll still broadcast to you, but we just won't do the automated stuff anymore. But it is what it is. Crazy how to access that. We're hoping they change it back, but I get it. It is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, Megan sent me a Wikipedia on what a glockenspiel is. Sorry, that made me laugh. That's the fact that she did that. I have to share this because she really did send it. There it is. It does. It is indeed a smaller xylophone with a. This one's got a wood case. I'm assuming that's a case all in one built. Hold on, let me zoom in on this. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're
That's
supposed to hold it like in your arm while you play it.
really,
Yeah,
oh, we doggone.
I think so. I
Huh.
could be something else, but I'm pretty sure you're supposed to like be able to like hold it in one hand and then like use a mallet with the other.
Really? Holy cow. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I should play the xylophone in band. I was in percussion. I was not very good because I never could really read music. Because that's why I was percussion because I didn't have to read like the notes up and down. And Yeah, couldn't do that. So percussion, I can. They're all in one line. Makes my life easier. But I do remember the musical pieces. Or was it the spaces are FACE, if I remember right, and then the lines are. I got to do this like in the phrase that I remember. Every good boy does fine. See if Megan approves, because
Yeah,
I think
now,
that's.
now do the bass clef stick scale.
Oh yeah, see that's it. That's you're asking too much now. It's gone way too far. Oh my goodness. So I missed totally if people were talking about if they use Excel. Yeah, okay, we got a few people that are still using Excel. To me, then you should at least go look. And Matt, again, I don't want to do a commercial. This is just for education purposes, right? Matt prefers you go do it. I actually prefer that you go do it, but and it's going to make your life a heck of a lot easier when you're dealing with casework. Why make it harder when it comes to logging evidence as it comes in, keeping track of where it's at in your casework and where the case is at? Why not get something that makes your life a little bit easier? Because I personally think you are very reasonably priced. I mean, I just looked at the price. I'm not going to share it here. You guys can go to the website, take a look. But I think it's very reasonable, and you guys should go check it out. It's monolithforensics.com. I put it into the chat earlier. I'll put it in the show notes after this is done going live. Matt, you got anything else you want to add to the group? Anything fun coming up that we should know about besides the
Uh,
bajillion conferences you guys are going to?
no, not really. I mean, conference season is about to start up for us, so we're just getting ready to start traveling. And like I said, we're going to England next week, so I'll be there all week, and then coming back and just getting ready to we're at the sort of towards the end of March, and we have usually as the summer starts, we have a few conferences that pop up that we head out to. So this part of the year is kind of we focus a lot about conferences, and then so other than that, we don't really have anything else crazy going on.
Yeah. Is that your Slack going off or is my Slack going off?
It's mine.
Okay. Because I have Slack open. That's how I talk to Megan back and forth. Did I forget to mute the Slack? And I'm like looking, I'm like, I don't see anything happening. That's how she yells at me if I screw something up and we have to correct it. So, all right, cool. I need to switch the sound to something more amusing. Maybe I'll switch it to a glockenspiel here. There we go. Or I have to turn this sucker up a little bit here and go like this. There we go. That was loud. Was that loud to you?
Yeah, it's super loud. Yeah,
I turned it up way too
it's
loud.
very very loud. Yeah, if you switch to that, that's going to put yourself in a mental hospital if you hear that 8,000 times a day.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, probably so. Oh, wait. Vicky has a statement that I'm sure you'll want to clarify on a little bit. It says it makes sense that changes are traceable. Very nice for evidence in court. Do you have something that's easy for court presentations when that stuff that needs to be prepped for court?
Yeah, so I mean, we have like chain of custody reports and things like that, and we have we have case reports that there's various ways that Monolith can generate like case reports. So I would say it's sort of like we try to build Monolith in a way that we're trying to find ways we can automate or standardize some of the things that you're having to do all the time in the lab, and just make it a little bit easier. It's To be honest, it's not necessarily just about court. Court is sort of like in my opinion, it's a small part of the process, and
Hmm.
Monolith is where I like to focus our customers on. Monolith really is about more of the efficiency of using it to make sure your lab is productive and you're, kind of efficient in the way you're doing things, and that um, there's so much of that focus on, you know, how do you know what's even going on from one day to the next? And like Cord is like, yeah, Cord is an important piece of it, but really, the only thing to model it, the thing that you need for Cord really is just some basic documentation. So you have your report, and if the report needs it, you have records of your chain of custody. But beyond that, it's kind of all you. But then once you get back to the lab, suddenly it's like, okay, now I need to know. Great, we just finished up this case. Now we have another case that we're working on. What needs to be done in this case? What's all the work that we need to do for it? And so that we can deliver results to our clients or investigator, that sort of thing. Um, the court the sort of stuff you need for a court is pretty straightforward, and we kind of solve that pretty easily.
Well, very cool. If anyone has any late questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. And if we're already off the air by the time that you think of the question, feel free to head over to this website, ask him a question. He's in Cyber Social Hub too. So if you guys don't know, and I haven't talked about this enough, and I kick myself in the butt, we have a brand new mobile app that you could ask Matt a question directly and receive push notifications when he answers you back. Yes, it is your direct link to Matt Danner, folks. He likes messages about 2:30 a.m. To go off. But if you haven't,
I'm not going to get them. So at 2:30 a.m. So feel free. Yeah. Yeah.
What we used to call those in the day, drunk dialing, no drunk dialing. If yeah, you guys haven't downloaded the app for Cyber Social Hub, we're on the App Store for Apple, and then Google Play on the Google side. And I like it. It works so much better than our last one. Oh man, the last one was okay, but this one is so much better with push notifications. And if we, like, just before we go, I don't think we did it this time, but before we go live, normally we'll send out a push notification. But people get mad if we do too many push notifications. We get nasty grams back. It's like, hey, don't do those all the time. Like, oh, sorry. So we try not to do them unless it's absolutely necessary. But when we go live or something like that, we may start doing some push notifications out there. But again, Cyber Social Hub. Curious if you're a member, give us a like. Also, give us a like anyway if you're watching, because I see there's like 34 people right now literally watching, which must be a really boring Friday afternoon for you to tune in here. But anyway, just hit the like button, because that helps our algorithm get us pushed out. Because our goal is to kind of help educate and just share information in the digital forensics community. Matt's been on a lot of times. And, Matt, I think this is the first time we haven't gone off on some wild rant that we normally do in our conversations. Normally that happens. And this is kind of our rant outlet, and we didn't do it.
I think it's just because I haven't eaten today yet. So I'm like really hungry, and I'm trying to like get to lunch. So I'm like not my usual tangent chatty self today.
Oh, so you're saying you're not quite hangry enough yet to really go on the heavy rants then?
I'm like I don't get hangry. I'm just hungry. So I just want to I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get some food in me, and so it's causing me to be like, oh, well, I'll just the more I talk, the longer it's going to take before I can get food. And
so you're saying, as I keep you longer at 6 minutes after from when we were supposed to end, don't want to talk about big cheeseburgers or anything like that. What is your food of choice if you were to have something like now?
Well, today is Friday, so I usually splurge on Fridays. So my usual Friday meal is In-N-Out. That's what I do every week. Usually every Friday. I haven't decided what I'm going to do today, but usually I'm trying to be good, and I do eat relatively healthy the rest of the week, and then Fridays are usually the day that I decide to go get some pizza or a burger or something.
I'm jealous. We don't have In-N-Out Burger in Ohio, at least not that I'm aware of. It hasn't made it this far to the Northeast. I don't know where the closest one is, what state it's made it over to, but Yeah, Megan's messaging me on Slack. I want In and Out right now. So yeah, 100%. See what you
Pretty
did?
good. It's
Now we have
yeah,
no way of satisfying that itch. I mean, it's just we can't scratch it now.
yeah. I mean, just it's not always in and out. Sometimes but that's usually my go-to because it's like you know, it's just a perfect amount of food. It's not too much, not too little, and it's fresh, so I like it. But sometimes I'll go grab a pizza or something. It just depends on how I feel. Um,
I have
yeah, this is
been.
like my
Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
no, no. I was gonna say this is like my Fridays are usually my day to pick some kind of cheat meal or something really unhealthy to eat. Once a week or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, I've been on. I don't know if I told you this or not. Since January 1st, so it's been how many months now? I'm in the month 3 now. We're in March. Just started month 3 because I've been on the carnivore diet. And again, I'm going to preface this so no one sues me. I am not a doctor by any means. You guys know I can't even like talk basic conversations about Excel right now. All right, so there's the bar. So I went on the carnivore diet, and I've had more energy. I've dropped 15 pounds within like that, like instantly. Probably just not eating all the crap I was eating before. I mean, I would eat. I was horrible, and I'm now in my 50s, and it's not a good combination. But the reason I bring that up is not for like, oh, he's on carnivore. Is because we're having a cheat day today, and I have my eyes on pizza. That's where I'm rolling, and I am looking forward to it. It probably put
do
me into
yourself,
like some sugar coma, but oh,
do yourself a favor and whatever pizza you get, just get like thin crust pizza.
oh
Like
yeah,
it'll
that's the way I roll.
be it's like you get the problem with like regular pizza for at least for me, like it's just the amount of dough and bread just takes me out of commission for a couple of days. So
Yeah,
it just just kind of sits in my stomach like a brick. But if I get like thin crust, it's just not nearly as bad.
yeah, um, yeah. Ron, to answer your question here is yeah, I eat, man, just literally almost a steak every day of some type. It may be like little half a steak of because my appetite's not huge anymore. Because my stomach shrunk down to the size of a pea, probably is part of it. And that'll suck, if I get this pizza and I like, oh, it's awesome pizza. I'm gonna eat a million. I'll probably like eat half a piece, and I'll be like so stuffed from all the bread. That's why thin crust is the way to go for sure. Yeah, but I usually do a steak at least every day, or at least part of one. It's very good stuff. All right, Matt. I won't keep you. I was just messing with you the last 4 minutes just to see how long I could keep you from eating.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
thanks so much for hanging out with us. And um, you don't have any webinars or anything coming up yet?
I don't think so. I don't remember, but
We,
I mean, I
we
rely
got to
on you
fix
guys
that.
when I have that stuff coming
Yeah.
up. So
No, Megan keeps track of all that. Remember, I can't do much of anything. She's really what runs everything on this side of the house, or the other
yeah,
side of the house, and to make sure it all rolls. But we'll make sure you get something rolled in there. Matt's topics, if you've not seen him speak before, at something other than Excel, that the topics are pretty insightful. And I'm going to tell people a secret. He doesn't prepare for those either, but he just is that knowledgeable about the topic. He can go forward with it, which is great that you're able to do that.
the only amount of preparing I do is I do like PowerPoint slides, but that's not me preparing. That's just because that's what users expect. They expect to see a couple of slides. Otherwise, it's just awkward if I'm just standing there talking with no slides. Then people think I'm some kind of psychopath, like I'm just talking without a PowerPoint presentation. But that's usually the only prep I do. Yeah.
Hey, Megan's calling you out right now with a smiley face, by the way. I'll preface this. It says he never replied to my dates. So there, it's on you. You probably
Oh,
have an email sitting in your inbox somewhere
I
with
probably
Megan
missed it.
asking you for
told you,
dates.
I told you guys like just email me multiple times because I mean, just right now looking at my inbox. I mean, just today I've got I don't know, looks like 50 emails just today that I need to get to. So sometimes I try, what I do is on Fridays, I usually go through all my emails for the past week because I usually miss one email at least. So Fridays I do an email review where I go through everything for the last week and then catch up with anybody I forgot to follow up with. So more than likely with hers, I just missed it, or probably slipped my mind or something. You know, so just send it again and I'll respond eventually. Yeah.
We'll harass you. We'll harass you in app as well. So you'll get. Do you have the app downloaded? Probably not. I'm sure because we just
I think
released it
so.
not too long ago.
Yeah, I
You do
think so.
the new one?
Yeah, I don't use it every day, but I'm pretty sure I did download it because I was curious to
Oh, okay.
see if there's a new, to see what it looked like.
Yeah, it's I like it. It's pretty cool. It's basic. That's why I like it. It doesn't take too much brain power to use it. It's literally post something, look something up. Ron, I know you're posting on there quite a bit here lately too. Um, I'll be curious to hear what you guys think of that mobile app, um, and how performs. It's fast, man. The new platform because we moved. Excuse me. We moved platforms from the. This is like the third rendition of Cyber Social Hub. But this one we were able to maintain obviously all of our users. We're up to 50, Megan, correct me if I'm wrong here. I think 5,700 roughly members now in Cyber Social Hub, which we passed up a lot of the other organizations long ago, which is kind of nice. But well, for us, I don't mean to like gloat, but it's awesome that we can help push out that kind of information. It's just the hard thing is I think most of the people in Cyber Social Hub are law enforcement, and there's not a lot of engagement that goes on in there as of the last week. But I think Ron, you had a couple um, things going on. I saw conversation wise. I think I was involved in those. I don't know. I have to go back and look. I'm not logged in right at the moment, and I don't even know where my phone's at. I usually hide it and silence it so it doesn't go off during it. But yeah, so you guys check it out. If you're not a member of Cyber Social Hub, go sign up. It's free. Why wouldn't you? We do webinars probably every week right now. I think there's something scheduled. Megan will correct me if I'm wrong, but if not, we have a lot of these shows scheduled every Friday, which obviously you don't have to be a member to tune in to those. And then you can find out about all of our workshops that are coming up too. So we have some of those cool things that are popping in, mini summits, and there's just all kinds of stuff. And you will be one of the first people, if you have the app, to hear about what we have planned coming up. So Megan, don't let me forget that. We'll make the announcement on the app first, and then we'll let everyone else know via email what we have planned. I like it. I think it'll be fun. It'll be a way for people to get engaged. And Matt, I'll tell you after the show, but I'll swear you to secrecy. So and get your input on it because I ask you all kinds of business questions. And we won't bore everybody else with them. So with that, Matt, I'm gonna let you go because I kept you another 5 minutes. See how that works. And away from food. If you guys need anything, head over to monolithforensics.com. Also, make sure you head over to cybersocialhub.com, be a member. If you're already a member, get in there and start talking, asking questions, leaving tidbits of information. Maybe you found out how to do something and maybe someone doesn't know how to do that. Put it in there. Share the information. That's the whole point of Cyber Social Hub, is to share resources and to pool resources together. With that, I am now going to hit the ending button so Matt can go eat his In-N-Out, and I'll see everybody next week. Thanks again, Matt. I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thanks everybody.